All right.
It's all you.
All right, there we go. So who's in sales? One, two, oh, a couple people. And then customer success. Oh, my God. You guys are brave. All right, I will not pick on you too hard. These are the heroes of the story today. Great. Okay, so my name is Dominique. I guess what you need to know about me, I was actually, believe it or not, the founder of the Customer Success Summit 5 years ago while I was at Totango. These days, I run a growth consulting and training shop called Winning by Design. And the only thing you need to know about that is that what I tell you today is not my knowledge, but the knowledge of our 150 or so really smart and cool clients, one of which is in the room over there, Feedvisor. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this. I think, especially with all these customer success people in the room, you probably know what is customer-centric sales. I said in a lot of other sessions, basically, we're trying to collectively have an impact on our customers' business. Okay, that far, so good, right? Not that hard. I think if you're walking away with one thing from this conference that Guy all wants us to remember is that is the job of the entire organization. So what I am going to focus on, and I hear a lot of you ask me, so how do I do that? How do I get sales and CSMs to be on one page and both work together to make the impact that we all want to have on our customers' business? Where did that go? All right, never mind. There was some slide in between. That's all right. So, recommendation number one. I recommend that you rename all the meetings you have currently inside your organization. You can actually use this concept of impact as the connective tissue for your different parts of the organization. So, case in point, you have a discovery call that happens at the beginning of the sales cycle that is conducted by sales development, sales, whatever. They have a discovery call with the client. So one thing you could do is you could rename that into an impact discovery call, just to make it abundantly clear what is the goal of this meeting. The goal is not to qualify the customer to death. Have you ever been qualified? How did that feel to be qualified? Like, I'm going to work today. I hope I will be qualified by a salesperson today. That sounds so good. No, I have a problem. I may be interested if you can prove to me that you can somehow improve my business, improve my revenue, reduce my costs, make things easier for me. Maybe that's the case. So if you actually tell the salespeople, you are now on an impact discovery call, you are going to try and figure out whether or not you can improve this customer's business. And sometimes, by the way, the answer is no. The most powerful words that we teach sales development reps are, company ABC is not for you. Very powerful words. Don't try and close customers that are not a fit, that are too small, too big, don't have the right configuration. They are never going to have an impact, or you are never going to have an impact on their business. Don't close them. They're going to be unhappy, they're going to churn, they're going to walk away, they're going to spread bad word of mouth. So that's the job of sales, right there on the front. And by the way, before that would come marketing, to actually feed you right fit customers, right? Next meeting, impact demo. So impact demo would be your SE, sales, actually demonstrating how it is that I could improve your business. So first I've qualified you as far as, okay, we can improve your business. Let me show you how we do that. Then the critical handoff, which you're all very interested in, which we'll get to the CS team, which is now we're going to try and realize this impact. We're doing this together with the customer, and you cannot do this on your own. You're going to need some things from your customer to make that happen, which we'll get to later. And then all the way at the end, you end up with what's traditionally called the quarterly business review. Who does quarterly business reviews quarterly? Okay, yes, that's why it's not a quarterly business review. It could be an executive business review, but just sticking with my theme, I recommend that you call it an impact review. That is the meeting at the end where you see if you've done what you promised you would do and improve your customer's business. So this is just a simple thing to do. Now, aside from a mindset shift to get all the people thinking about, across the different teams about impact, the other two things that will most impact the overall success and growth of your business would be the handoff, right, between these different stages and these different teams, and we'll talk about that, as well as the structure of these very critical customer touch points. Not the script. We're not trying to give people a script, but what is the structure of those meetings? So here I have a question for you. Who has, in the last 30 days, listened to at least 3 customer onboarding calls and 3 impact review calls that they were not their own? So if you are individual contributor, did you listen to 3 calls of your peers? And or if you're a manager, did you listen to 3 calls of your subordinates of what actually is being said to customers on these calls? Anybody? 2 people, 3 people, 4 people. This is a problem, people. I cannot tell you how much value you could create by actually creating a structure for these calls and then listening to what is being said. Fortunately, there's some really cool tools coming on the market that make this easier for you. You can ask me about that later. Oh, there's the missing slides. Never mind. All right. Let's talk about structure. So we're going to take a couple of these critical moments, specifically the kickoff call, and then we'll talk about the impact review. So what I said earlier is you cannot be successful on your own, right? I mean, if you are going to improve a customer's business, you need the customer to help you with that. So we suggest that you create a contract, right? A kickoff call would be a good time to do that. Collect from sales what is the impact that was promised to the customer, and now agree who does what. This is what company ABC, the seller, is going to do. This is what the customer needs to do by a certain date in order for this improvement of the business to happen. And this is where I need you guys for some examples. So I need my man Sam to be ready. So I don't know, person there in the red jacket, can you, oh sorry, I make you run really fast. Can you tell me what is one thing that your customer needs to do in order for you to be successful?
Well, well, they need to engage with our product
Okay.
and adopt it, meaning they need to log in frequently to the platform.
Okay. Anybody else? Let's see, gentleman here in the jacket. What is one thing your customer, like something, if they don't do this, your implementation is going to fail?
You need to have sponsorship. You need to have a senior level sponsorship, right? Driving.
Okay. So what's the action item you'd write on the sheet? I mean, I'm looking for some action items. Maybe there, yeah. Oh, volunteer. Hoo-hoo.
We need an implementation date, so the date that they want to launch our courses.
Okay, that's great. Now let's get a little more specific. Implementation date. So in order for them to hit their implementation date, what do they need to do? Anything specific?
We have to have specific fields set up in Salesforce.
Okay, perfect. Here, this is where we're going to get to, right? I mean, there is probably, if you peel the onion on this, specific things that your customer needs to do to hit that implementation date, right? And to keep the sponsor happy, some fields need to be created in Salesforce, all right? Well, it would be good to, on the kickoff meeting with your customer, make that very clear. In order for us to improve your revenue by 30% by the end of this quarter, we need executive sponsorship for which we need this implementation date to be met, for which we need these Salesforce fields to be created by this date. Make sense? So this is the contract I'm talking about.
Just before you answer a question, please use the microphone. It's for the records so that everything gets recorded. Thank you.
All right. Now, the same principle actually applies to all the meetings. Now, if you are, like most people, you will probably have this kickoff call, and maybe the next time that you have a scheduled call with your customer may only be 90 days before renewal, where that famous quarterly business review that isn't quarterly that I say is an impact review meeting will take place. And maybe that's okay, as long as 2 conditions are met. Again, exceptions for very large accounts, exceptions for very small accounts, as long as you, 1, set up a system whereby you do monthly reports, either automated or manual, to both the end user and the business user in the account, where you let them know how things are going, right? That's what I call the monthly impact report. So do have a regular touch. Don't let these people hanging. It doesn't have to be a full-blown meeting. And second, as long as you have alerts set up, right? So alerts both on the, is this customer at risk? And there's a lot being said about that, as well as is there opportunities to sell more, right? That too need to be alerts. And I don't know, I'm wondering, there's a lot happening in that field. There's a couple other sessions mentioned this too, whereby increasingly think of your CSMs as the SDRs for the sales team, right? If you have CSMs and account managers separate, if your CSMs are not the ones who are doing the expansion sales, they are not close to the customer. They are not going to find the right moment and the right topic to engage in an expansion sale conversation. So you, as a CSM, need to be that person feeding them leads. And we recommend that people actually think about setting a specific target. It doesn't have to be a commission plan, but at least let CSMs know what you expect from them. So here again, a question for you. Want to hear a couple examples. Has anyone set up any cool alerts that will alert your sales team or your CSM team to expansion conversations that need to happen, sort of interrupt-driven, outside the regular, executive business review? What? Go ahead. Hold on a second. Microphone. Sorry.
We have health score alerts. We also have NPS alerts that get sent out to let people know if there's an expansion opportunity with our customer base.
Okay, so you're saying if someone has a high NPS score, then it's a good time to call them. Okay. Is there anything else specific? Like, again, I'm trying to look for specific. Is there anything that someone might do or that might happen in a product? You say, you know what? Maybe I have a chance now to sell something more.
We are using a usage alert.
Okay, so what kind of
For
use?
example, if he's using the, he's repricing a specific amount of dollars, which is already makes sense to being upgraded to the next plan, or if he uses a number of users that can correlate to the next plan. So usage alert.
Okay, excellent. Any other suggestions? What could you alert on?
Login activity to the software that we have.
Right. So again, these are going to be specific to your business, but really I think we've been very focused collectively at risk alerts, but with all this talk about CSMs needing to prove their worth, be responsible for revenue, book of business, it would behoove you, even if you don't carry that number, to be very specific about signals your customers may be sending that it's time to re-engage sales. They'll love you for that too, by the way. All right, so let's go to the third and last blueprint or structure that I want to talk about. So this is the impact review. So remember, we have first the SDRs and sales has talked and discovered how can we improve a customer's business. Then we've made a contract with the customer. We're going to together realize this impact. Okay, now we are at the end of that cycle. And hopefully we have improved their business by 30%, whatever we promised. How are we going to open this call? So I'm going to set the agenda, and before I get into that blue part, which I call my impact sandwich, we'll get to that, but before I get there, what do I say? What do I ask? How do I set the agenda for this call? How do you open an impact review call? Any suggestions? I'll read it. Okay, gentlemen there in the white, there in the back, very close to you. Yes. How do you open an impact review call? You get on a customer, you have a customer, you get on a call, okay, 90 days, your renewal is up. Welcome to this meeting. And your question to the customer is?
How's everything going?
That's a good start. Anyone wants to elaborate on that? How's everything going? And? Okay, yes.
These are what we heard were your missions and goals when we kicked off. Have we met them? Has anything changed?
Has anything changed, right? Because if I go launch into this really big monologue on how wonderful it is that we have improved the, ramp-up time from your sales reps. Okay, let's take this example. Let's say I'm selling sales engagement software to a customer. And the customer initially told me that, so I need to ask if anything has changed. When we first met, you had 20 new sales reps, and you raised a large round of funding, and you were really struggling with, onboarding these salespeople. So we set out together to improve the ramp-up time from your new salespeople by 30%. Is that still the case? Did I get that right? Okay. If I don't ask that question, what if they say, oh, actually our market really went south. We only have 2 salespeople left. Right? I can go talk all I want about impact. It's not going to matter. Right? So the first thing you want to do, and this is where we say a structure, right, to these calls and to these meetings really matters. There is certain things, no matter which industry you are in, you are always going to say and ask. One of these things is open every impact review with, this was the situation and the pain and the impact that we had agreed on solving together. Is that still the case? If yes, then great. Then proceed to the next step, the first step in my impact sandwich, which is review with them, which I think most of you probably do, the success that you've had. Then proceed to benchmark that against other customers. This is also how you're going to get your executive stakeholder to show up every single time. By the way, it's also the only reason that anybody is picking up the phone from any salesperson. Or why would you pick up the phone for a salesperson? Because they can tell you what everybody else is doing around you. Really super useful information that you as a vendor uniquely have. So show them this is how you stack up against others in the industry like you. And then from that, there is a very natural segue into a sales conversation that says, there's still a gap. Here's 3 opportunities that you have, either within the confines of the existing product or by upgrading to the XYZ new widget product that we have to do as good as your peers in these areas, whatever it is. So this is the impact sandwich at the impact review meeting. 3 takeaways for today. Customer success takes, indeed, the whole organization. You can help the mindset shift along by actually using impact as the connective tissue and by renaming your meeting so it's very clear what is expected from the different departments at every customer touch point. 2, we didn't talk about it too much, but I guess in the kickoff you saw make sure that there is templates and agreed upon handoff. Like if the information about what impact the customer is looking to achieve did not come through into the impact kickoff, it's going to be a really embarrassing meeting. Customer will have to repeat itself again and again, very, very non-customer centric. So handoff. And then thirdly, I cannot tell you how much you can improve your business. If you do one thing, go back to your business, record these calls, and listen in and what is actually being said. Make sure you have a blueprint or a structure on what you want to happen during each of these meetings. And then see if your people are actually implementing that. Get them in a room. Nothing is as fun as a little call review, pizza party. And stop the tape. Okay, what is he going to say next? Let's see if he's actually doing it. We call these dojo meetings, very kind of high impact, kind of peer learning. You can do this. Just get everybody in a room, and people will learn from each other's calls. I have 1 minute left, so I asked you some questions. Does anybody have any questions for me? No, I'm not that scary, am I? Anyway, well, thank you very much. I guess I'll give my next speaker a minute to come up and get ready. And yeah, good luck.